Micah, and I'm going to be making my Mickey Mouse pretzels, like the ones at Disneyland today. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make them. They're really simple. They're only 2 ingredients. Kind of more like 4, but mainly 2. Self-rising flour, Greek yogurt, plain, butter or oil of your choice, but I'm choosing butter because everything's better with butter. Of course, salt. The first thing you want to do when baking is wash your hands. For this, you're going to want to preheat the oven to 350. After you've preheated the oven, you scoop your butter out. Oh, this is hard. I'll just use my hands, they're clean. So you scoop your butter out and into a bowl as much as you think you're going to need to grease the pretzel, and then you put it in the microwave to melt it. Okay, now that the butter is melting, can I show it? In the microwave. The next step is to mix your flour and your yogurt. Now the reason I didn't show measurements for this is because it's really simple. It depends on how big of a batch you want to make of pretzels. It doesn't really matter. You'll usually end up with extra dough, and you need to use the exact same amount of yogurt as flour, and then you just mix it together. Now, once you've got your ball of dough, you just take flour and you spread it all over the space you want to use, and then you take it and you spread it out and you start rolling with a rolling pin. I don't have a rolling pin, so I'm going to use a water bottle. It works fine. That's the butter. It can sit in the microwave though. You roll your dough until it's about as thick and tall as a pancake. So it needs to be really thin. And then the next step after you've rolled it is to start cutting your Mickey Mouse face. And you start with an outline and you briefly draw it. And then you start actually cutting pieces out and pulling them apart until you have it. And you do the face first without the ears. And you do a circular nose in the middle. And then the 2 eyes. Just make holes. I used to not make holes, now I make holes. And then you're going to take your spatula and you're going to move your pretzel. Straighten it out once you put it onto your plate. And so you can add the ears. And yeah, 1 ear and then the other. And I did some touch-up work to mine because I didn't like how it looked in the beginning. And then I flipped it over so that I could get the ears to stick on both sides. And then I just shake the extra flour out of the 2 plates that I used to hold it into the trash can. I shake the flour into the trash can. And then you're going to want to cut the ears. I can't do this one-handed, so I'm going to turn off the camera. Now that your new pretzel is completely carved, you put it on parchment paper in a cookie sheet or a pan is what I used. And it's a little bit wet because I just washed the pan, but if you sprinkle it with flour, then you take your spatula and you move your Mickey Mouse pretzel onto the paper. It was a little bit tricky, so I had to cut the camera a little bit, but he looks a little bit sad now with his head all misshapen and stuff. But all you have to do is kind of move him around into the middle, spruce him up, flip around his ears, and put flour on him, and he'll be good. Yeah, the next step is adding flour. But be careful not to put too much, because on my first try at this, I've made these pretzels many times, but on my first try, I put too much flour, and the flour burned around the pretzel. It was not good. Once you've finished your flour, you use a spoon and you douse your pretzel in butter, and you keep adding it until the whole pretzel's covered. This is so that the salt sticks. And then you sprinkle on salt because every pretzel has salt. The ones at Disneyland have those big salt chunks meant for pretzels, but I don't have that. Normal, like, salt works at home. This is just a homemade pretzel, so it works. Last and final step is to take your pretzel and put it in the oven. And I would leave it in the oven for about 50 minutes. That's pretty good. It usually cooks all the way through. But there's no real time for this because it's just a homemade thing. I would check on it every 20 minutes to see how it's doing and see if it's rising, because once it's risen and golden brown, that's when you take it out of the oven. As you can see, mine worked out really well, and I'm very happy with it. What was that videography? Alright, it comes right off. The last step is if any flour or any excess, like butter or something, fries or dries or bakes with the pretzel and it sticks to your pretzel, you'll want to go in with a knife and just cut that off around the eyes, the ears, the nose, and the mouth is where it mainly is. But all in all, I think this pretzel was a success. And please subscribe if you want to see more cool things like this. I'm sorry about my voice today. I'm doing all the voiceover work for this after camp. I've been gone for 5 days, so my voice is a little bit gone. Lots of screaming. Hey guys, I'm on my way to camp. This is Asher, one of my friends, and we're gonna be trying out the Mickey Mouse pretzel. It makes a great snack. I bagged it up this morning after last night's videoing, and we're gonna try it. Here it goes. No. Break it. There you go. A little bit salty.
It's salty, but that's good.
It's good. Alright. Until next time, have a magical day.